Cooperative learning at Lipson is central to everything that we do. It's very important in the way that we develop our whole ethos of a shared vision in moving forwards, and that's demonstrated by the digital cooperative, which demonstrates or looks for good practice in how we're going to move forward as a college using new technologies, and works as a joint group with a third of our entire staff from departments across the whole college to develop new ways of learning that are innovative and inspiring for young people. That's taken with influence from the school's council and student voice groups, which then deliver ideas and concepts of what have worked well on the ground, what they've enjoyed, what they felt has actually encouraged them to participate in learning in more depth.
Cooperative learning is structuring a lesson so that all students take part in what we're doing, and that every student has to take part, so that it isn't optional whether some students are involved or not, but everybody's role is important. So we will do tasks where students are in groups of 4 and everybody has a different task to complete, and unless they fulfill their role, the whole thing will not work, their task won't be completed. So it makes sure that everybody is engaged and working together.
Cooperative learning is a brain-friendly way of learning where the interactions between students need to be structured and just to make the students feel comfortable with the way that they're learning. At Lipson, it's demonstrated in every single classroom, the way the students work together, the way they talk to each other. For example, in my room today, students working on a project on Aung San Suu Kyi, and each student was concentrating on a different element of her life to then come together with a final product using Prezi.
So the changing landscape of resources within the college present us with lots of new opportunities for learning and demonstrating best practice with that learning. So no longer are we looking at just basic ICT suites and rooms that people move around to as and when they determine the need for IT as a resource. We're actually embedding that within our learning so that as a student, as a teacher within that lesson decides actually that's something that's going to impact learning, whether it's a piece of research, whether it's a different way of presenting a view. It could be to review something that's happened there and then within that lesson, for instance using flip cams to record different parts of presentations and then for people to feed back and understand what's going on there, whether it's use of iPads for translating different pieces of work that people might be working on, or English as an additional language. That's one area that we've seen the iPads work really well. It's about having those resources to hand, so building rooms and building learning spaces which encourage our cooperative learning ethos, so working in groups of 4, and giving those people those tools, so whether it's a netbook and a trolley that someone can just go and take as they need, whether it's the iDesk solution or something similar, maybe the Ergo solution, which are the desks rising out of the tables as and when they're needed, and then them to be sunk away back into the desk when actually they're not going to enhance that lesson. So it's a deeper understanding of how we're using the resources, when and where we're going to need those resources, and it's having a mix of different technologies which are specific and right for purpose, and it's our students and our staff's ability to understand when that's going to be effective and when it's not, and that's why it's really powerful at Lipson. That's why our landscape of having these different learning spaces and developing these learning spaces is becoming really quite powerful.
The changing mix of resources in our classroom has allowed us to deliver some really stimulating lessons. We use Web 2 technologies to record lessons and upload them onto YouTube, where they're viewed by a global audience, and that wide viewership gives a sense of pride in students' work and teachers' work as we see its effect in a global community. We use iPads and iDesks and all sorts of technologies to make sure that students have resources for themselves. So I might give an iPad to a student to be able to look up words on a dictionary app, things of that nature, so that they can manage their own learning using technology.
Within the Humanities faculty, we have 44 netbooks that we use pretty much on a daily basis. We don't regard them as a £300 pen. We regard them as a resource where we can access the internet, where we can utilise things like My Big Campus or using Prezi and developing collaborative learning through those.
So the Apps for Good project is working in collaboration with CDI Europe, an organisation which look at rolling out projects to help people collaborate and learn from each other, learn from industry experts and educational professionals. And the Apps for Good project specifically looks at using design methods to create a new mobile application, which is hopefully the aim of actually resolving a real life issue, a real life problem. This has been really inspiring for our students because they've been able to work within their cooperative groups, form small companies, make sure they've got a brand for their company, a real identity, and then start to come up with some ideas, some theories of how things within their lives are causing them some issues, might be difficult, could just be reminders, alarms, it could be basic apps which are going to look at subject-specific content, science, English, maths and so on, just basic reminders, helps, tips, hints. And then moving on from that in actually coming up with a real design for an application which could then be built, tested and put out to market. And the really inspiring thing about the Apps for Good project for us is the way that we've run it in conjunction with our vertical teaching group. So our Apps for Good project actually works with year 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11 working together. So you could have a group with a year 7, 8, 9 and 10 student working in this. So they've all got different life experience, they've all got different things that they're involved with outside of the college, and they can bring those ideas and really make a really valid contribution to the whole design of the application. So it's a really exciting way of looking at new technologies.
The use of technology in the classroom has enabled us to extend what we do beyond the walls of Lipson. We have a global viewership of what we do in class because we upload it onto YouTube, and our lessons are viewed in 168 different countries. Last month 150,000 views from around the world. Some of the people who watch those videos are students in our school, in other schools around the world, but also authors, and some of the authors that we study in our videos and podcasts have actually watched the videos and communicated with us. We had the author Claire Wigfall watch our podcast about her story, and she liked it so much she flew over from Berlin and came and did a workshop with us for a day. So it gives us a global audience, and we're able to really communicate with people around the world with what we do.
So through new learning technology, we have been able to expand our partnerships with other organisations and other schools within the area, nationally and even globally. And we found that My Big Campus has been a massive driver for that. When we think about a virtual learning environment, what we're trying to do at Lipson is to develop something which is far wider than just a simple platform or a discrete learning environment that you buy into. And we're trying to look at many different elements of this and how these are put together to expand our learning beyond what we've been able to achieve in the past. And we found that by developing something like My Big Campus, which we're deeming to be our educational Facebook, we're enabled to communicate with a much wider audience of educational professionals, students in different areas around the globe, and with that actually enhance the delivery of different subject areas, for instance geography, speaking with different people in different social economical circumstances, and that's really encouraged our students to think in a different way and generate discussion with people from different backgrounds, from different circumstances, and it's just made learning much more exciting, actually much deeper, in the sense that people are connecting now more with others outside of our college, outside of our general area that we live and work within, and learning technology enables us to do that, whereas before we could only look at something in a textbook and not have that two-way communication, which is really vital to us moving forward.
One of the ways technology has enabled us to extend and maintain partnerships with the wider community has been through the use of Facebook. We have established a Facebook page with the Year 11 class, and that Facebook page is called Think Today with Tomorrow in Mind. That page is designed at educating people about reducing their influence on the climate and taking steps to improve the environment and what they can do within their own homes to reduce their carbon footprint. We've used that page for over a year now. We've got a number of users that use that page, including people from Ghana, which is one of our link schools.
Perfect. What has this change in technology allowed you to do that previously would have not been possible due to time constraints?
I engage with students Pretty much 24/7. I like the use of email. I like being able to use things like Facebook and My Big Campus to always communicate with students. So where Year 11s are having a big panic over coursework, they can just contact me. It will come up on my phone and I can deal with it straight away, rather than that stress for students being increased. Plus I know what those students are going to need for the next day and I can have it ready for them.